Can you dig it, coach?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Windy City Digits. I can totally dig it. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in on this video. Beck, we're going to try something new.
What are we going to do?
We're always trying to be innovative here. So I know in some of our live streams and some of our videos, we talk about the odds, the lines on the game. And we normally talk about Chicago sports, but we're going to try something a little bit different.
All right, cool. I'm game.
So we're going to pick three NFL games every week. And we're going to talk about the game and talk about the line, the odds, so on and so forth. And we'll kind of see how this works out. So this week, we're not going to talk about the Bears game. We'll leave that for a separate video, right?
You got
but
it.
I'm going to have you pick the three games that we're going to talk about this week.
All right.
And then we'll kind of go from there. How's that sound?
Let's do that.
Okay.
I would first say that we are being sponsored today.
We are.
Yes. Isn't that exciting?
That's great.
Even
Who's
though
sponsoring us?
Even though we're being creative, we are being sponsored by Wagerwire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
thanks to Wagerwire for sponsoring this particular episode.
Yeah. So I would say we should pick the Eagles versus the Commanders.
Okay, that's a good game to start with. So Eagles right now are -6.5 at the Commanders. The game started out at, I think the Eagles are -3.5 to start, but the game has moved a little more. Eagles had a pretty convincing win last week at the Vikings, right? And Jalen Hurts seems to be playing pretty well right now. They're averaging about 29 points a game, actually 31 points a game, where the Commanders are averaging about 27. So 3.5 sounds about right with the opening line, but it seems like a lot more people right now have confidence in the Eagles and their offense, not a whole lot of faith in the Commanders. What do you think about the game?
I have a lot of faith in the Eagles too. I think they're up and coming and looking solid, and I think the Commanders just have too many ifs about their team.
Yeah, well, and truth be told, I also have a little bias toward the Eagles also because TJ Edwards is one of my favorite players on the defensive side. Shout out to
you. Do say that all the time.
Shout out to his old man Vince and to TJ, starting middle linebacker for the Eagles. So, look, that first week they let the Lions back into that game. The first week they seemed to tighten the ship last week on the defensive side, holding that Vikings high-powered offense to I think 7 points in that game. So the defense seems to have tightened up. So I think 6.5 is about the right number.
All right.
Let's see right now.
The Washington defense is pretty banged up too. So I think, from what I understand, Washington's defense is 31st in run defense.
Yeah, and the over/under right now is 47.5. If I had to guess, I probably would go over just because of the Eagles. I think the Eagles are easily going to score 30 points in this game.
I would agree with that.
Right?
I could see Miles Sanders running about 75 to 100 yards against the Commanders.
Okay, so this week that's the first game we're going to go with this week. What else you got?
Yeah. All right, so let's go for some cheese grating.
Okay, your favorite topic.
Yeah, I like to grate cheese for fun. Let's talk about the Packers and the Bucs.
Packers and the Bucs. Okay, so
yeah,
this is pretty much a toss-up right now. -1 isn't much at all in the game, and people seem to have a little more confidence in the Packers at this point and Aaron Rodgers. I know that the offense is a little depleted for the Bucs right now. And I think they also have some defensive players out. I haven't had a chance to look at the injury report yet for the Bucs, but I know you're not much of a, gambler per se, but usually the home team is almost automatically before they start the line is almost always -3 to start. So the fact that a couple points have moved away from the Bucs toward the Packers tells me that a lot more money is being put on the Packers at this point. So it's a classic matchup, right, between Rodgers and Brady.
Well, you know what's kind of scary, I think, for Rodgers. Watkins, Lazar, and Watson did not even practice on Thursday. That's a really depleted wide receiver group.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And
So
Lazard hasn't been practicing much, right? And you would have thought after the way the Bears game, and they had a little bit, like with the way they were having success, you would have thought that they would have come out of fairly unscathed. But yeah, the injury report doesn't look good for them right now.
and the Bucs lead the league in sacks with about 10.
So their offense really is about the same. I mean, Tampa Bay is averaging like 19 points a game. Green Bay is averaging 17. So, do you think there's going to be a high scoring game?
No, I think it's I mean, around that 1917 score, that sounds about right. I would say 21-17.
Okay.
But I think I would pick the Bucs winning this game.
Okay, and the over-under is 42, so I think we're both in agreement. This is looking like an under game, under 42, right? So we're looking about like high teens, low 20s, right?
That I would get that for sure.
Okay, so all right, so we did a little cheese grating.
Yeah.
So what are we up for? What's the last game we're going to go for this week?
All right, well, let's go for my fantasy QB, Russell Wilson, against the 49ers, where the Bears actually won.
Actually, Jimmy G, I picked up Jimmy G this week for our league, so he's my starting quarterback now this week. So
he's going to start?
He's going to start for me because Justin Herbert's my other guy, right? And he's still questionable. And even if he plays, I don't know how effective he's going to be.
I hear you.
Point, right?
All right. So before you get into this, let's talk a little bit to me, because for those of you who don't know, I'm not a big gambler. Explain to me why it's typical for a home team to get those 3 points right off the bat.
So normally just because of the home field advantage, just because you're home, and that's kind of like the starting point where you're given automatically like a 3-point advantage at home. And then you factor in all the numbers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So for someone who's never gambled before, would you consider that a +3 or a -3?
-3. So the game should have started automatically. Broncos -3. You automatically get 3 points at home. Give up 3 points at home. And I think the original line actually was Broncos -2 was the original opening line when the first odds came out. But
it is, yeah.
Since then, obviously, with it being confirmed after the game that Trey Lance is done for the season, and Jimmy G is going to be the starter. And then also with the coaching, with Shanahan coaching there in San Francisco, and the Broncos coach not having a great start
terrible
so
man.
far. Nathaniel Hackett's not having a great start and having to defend his choices the first week.
The shake and bake offense.
Yeah, going for a 60-yard field goal instead of putting it at the hands of your $200 million quarterback.
I can't believe I've got that quarterback right now.
So the line shifted a lot to where it's now to the 49ers 1.5. Let me take a look right here real quick. The over-under on the game is 43. I don't know. I think I'd still be on the under on that. But with the way Jimmy G plays, I would expect them to be a little more high-powered offense now.
Well, hey, so in the first 2 games, Trey Lance was averaging about 6.7 yards per attempt throwing, and Jimmy G stepped in and had about 8.3 yards. Not a huge increase, but he definitely was moving the ball better than Trey Lance was in the offensive sets that he had. Yeah,
but also keep in mind that when they started the game, the whole game plan was basically designed around Trey Lance. It wasn't they didn't practice the plays they normally would run with Jimmy G. So now that they've had a whole week to plan for it, and to take advantage of, I'm sure they're not going to have as many run options to Jimmy. He's going to be more of a pocket passer, maybe a couple of rollouts, but they're not going to have any designed runs or anything like that, or draws or anything for Jimmy G. So,
but the Broncos defense is pretty darn stellar too. I mean, even though the Broncos offense hasn't looked so well right now, I think they're ranked like maybe 6th in defense.
Let me take a quick peek at that real quick as far as the defense. So
in terms
total,
of,
they're actually 3rd in total yards.
Okay.
in defense. They're giving up 243 yards per game.
That was close.
Which is third overall. But San Francisco is the number 1 defense in the league. So
that is tough. So I would take the 49ers.
Yeah, I would take the 49ers
over the Broncos.
Yeah, and I think we're both in agreement. Also, looks like it might be the under.
I would guess it's going to be somewhat of a low-scoring game too. I mean, we know Garoppolo is not. They don't really score a high amount of points. He's an efficient passer. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So once again, I could see this being 24-17.
Yeah, so that's pretty close because the over-under is 43. So you're right at 41 points right there.
Yeah.
So it'll be pretty close.
And I would say 49ers 24-17, although I wish it was flip-flopped and Russell Wilson scores 3 TDs for us.
For that. Maybe we'll do a fantasy football segment too sometime soon. So
wouldn't be bad, man.
No. So thanks to Wagerwire for sponsoring this particular episode. We're going to do this every week, picking 3 different games to do. And maybe we'll do a recap on Monday or Tuesday and see how we did this week. So again, the 3 games we picked this week was the Eagles over the Commanders. We picked the Bucs over the Packers and the Niners over the Broncos. So thanks again for Wagerwire for sponsoring the video. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think of our picks. Throw in your own too. We'd love to hear what you guys have. And nice job, champ. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace.
Love.
And digits.